Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. In this video, I want us to listen to some remarks made by Lawyer Willis Otieno, the famous pinky ponky lawyer. The lawyer made some remarks that are going to form the basis of our analysis in this video. Listen to this.
Finally, Kenyans are not denying or refusing the finance bill just because they don't want to pay tax. Kenyans pay tax every day. But you've reached a point where you are trying to tax Kenyans beyond what they can afford. What Kenya Kwanza is trying to do, if you look at the revenue estimates on domestic, on tax, they are trying to raise 1 trillion more in 1 year than they raised in the previous year. They are raising the revenue target by more than 1 trillion. It took Kibaki 10 years to move our revenue target, revenue raising measures from 290 billion when Moi left to almost 900 billion by the time Kibaki was leaving. It took Uhuru 10 years to raise it from 900 billion to 1.8 trillion the time he was leaving. So what actuaries will tell us is that to get the 1 trillion target, it takes around 10 years. Because it's the same cow, as I always say. You cannot say, and Senator Boni is a bullfighter, you cannot say that a cow that that last year you milked, or yesterday you milked and raised a liter of milk, that now tomorrow you are going around in the market telling people, I'm now going to supply 10 liters of milk from the same cow. It's the same feeds, it's the same water that you feed this cow, it's the same environment, same climate. What is this miracle that is going to make the cow now produce 10 liters of milk today than it did yesterday? So also,
in a nutshell, the lawyer is saying it took Mwai Kibaki about 10 years to increase our tax revenues from 290 billion to 900 billion. When Uhuru Kenyatta took over, it took him another 10 years to move our tax revenues from 900 billion to 1.8 trillion. So on average, both Uhuru and Kibaki took about 10 years to increase our tax revenues to an average of 1 trillion. It took them 10 years. William Ruto intends on increasing our tax revenues with 1 trillion in 1 year, something that took Uhuru and Kibaki 10 years. Ruto is trying to do that in 1 year. So it's practically not possible, because by pushing Kenyans very much on taxes, rather pushing Kenyans to the wall on taxes, that is not very productive on the part of Kenyans. I want us to dig deep into this. Let's continue. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? Because I suppose the law is just stating facts as they are. The first thing coming out very clearly, William Ruto is very impatient. He is in a hurry. That's one thing coming out very clearly. If it took Kibaki and Uhuru an average of 10 years to increase our tax revenues with 1 trillion, he wants to do that in 1 year. Ruto is just in a hurry. And that will augur very negatively for him politically and for Kenyans economically. He will lose the people, and the people will also suffer economically as a result of Ruto's bad policies. You cannot increase tax revenues with 1 trillion within 1 year. That's clearly not possible. And then secondly, Ruto has been going around the country saying that kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea, and that's a narrative he has been using in trying to hoodwink Kenyans that the finance bill is not bad for them. Kenyans are paying taxes as I talk. No Kenyan, in fact, all Kenyans are paying taxes. Nobody has refused to pay taxes. What Kenyans are saying is that the formula William Ruto is using is not very good. In fact, it could have been even more prudent if William Ruto could have spanned these tax increments within that 10-year period, not putting all of them in 1 year. I'm seeing a William Ruto is just desperate for some other unknown things that are only known to him. I won't also be wrong to say Ruto wants to create a very large pool of resources from where himself and his close associates can loot from as early as possible. He wants that idle fund, a lot of it somewhere, where they can start looting as early as possible. He has been in power for about 9 months. So he wants to have this money in a hurry for him to loot. That's something coming out very clearly. And then again, that can also mean William Ruto was not ready to form a government. If at all he was ready, then he's clearly naive and clueless on governance. Totally naive on governance. If you look on how William Ruto is arranging his government, you are just seeing that political naivety and governance naivety. As Ruto increases, or rather as he pushes Kenyans on taxes, he is adding more positions in government. So Kenyans are being milked dry as William Ruto creates job opportunities for his close friends and associates. So that money that Kenyans are being taxed more will just be consumed by these individuals or at these offices, these new offices being created. So it's a zero-sum kind of a game. And besides increasing even the size of the government, he's also increasing salaries of his top government officials, himself and his top government officials, and even members of parliament. So it's coming out very clearly that these taxes Kenyans are being pushed to the wall to pay. All these taxes will be consumed by recurrent expenditure. So at the end of the day, there will be no development at all. No development at all. As I conclude, I won't be wrong to say William Ruto is just insensitive to the plight of hustlers. And I'm saying hustlers because that's the narrative he used. He created this feeling that he was a hustler's president. He was going to form a government with Mama Mboga Boda Boda, the lowly in the society. One thing that is coming out, William Ruto is very insensitive to the plights of these hustlers. And if anything, I won't be wrong, and Kenyans should take me very seriously. William Ruto hates the poor. He has been saying that he came from a humble background. It might be possible that that humble background he came from made him hate poverty and also made him hate poor people. So he's deliberately trying to oppress them and to milk them dry. He's just putting unnecessary sufferings on these people. And that's something Kenyans should take very seriously. Ruto hates poverty and he hates poor people. And in this case, he wants himself to be rich at the expense of others. The poverty William Ruto hates is one that is affecting him as an individual. He doesn't care whether somebody there is poor or not. All he cares is that himself, he is rich and not poor. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. But just as I did indicate when we were starting, if you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. To any other person who would want to support our forum, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number or feel free to channel your support to the number. Any other person watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give this video a like. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.